have you ever stared at a simple chore you desperately needed to do, like folding a basket of laundry or answering a short email, and felt physically glued to your bed, as if your body suddenly weighed 1,000 pounds? Society has a blunt diagnosis for this behavior: laziness. This label often triggers an immense amount of guilt, trapping you in an internal loop of demanding more and more discipline from a system that is already struggling. But psychology reveals a different reality. True laziness is a complete lack of care. It's avoiding a task because you genuinely have no desire to do it. When you stare at your to-do list with mounting anxiety, you are actually experiencing a state of deep concern, not apathy. An unseen biological force has hijacked your ability to move, operating entirely independently of your willpower or your honest desire to act. Neuroscience identifies this paralysis as a freeze response, specifically the dorsal vagal response. Your nervous system has shifted your body into an extreme conservation mode to protect an overwhelmed system. This conservation is necessary because of the way your brain spends energy. Sustained thinking, like intense planning, imagining outcomes, and evaluating choices, consumes massive amounts of real biological fuel. If you carry high internal standards, you likely spend hours mentally preparing for a task to ensure conditions are perfect. This process of running simulations of potential failure drains your physical battery before you even step up to the starting line. Under stress, the brain's prioritization system fails. Every incoming task registers as an emergency, and the control panel becomes covered in blinking buttons, flashing at the exact same time. Flooded with competing signals and overwhelmed by noise, the dashboard powers off and freezes. To an outside observer, this looks like a refusal to work, but biologically, the brain has already worked itself into absolute exhaustion without you moving a muscle. When cognitive energy drops dangerously low, your brain's survival instincts override your conscious ambition. It automatically prioritizes comfort and familiarity as a means of protection. In this depleted state, the nervous system misinterprets the risk of starting a mundane task imperfectly. It treats the possibility of making a mistake as a genuine threat to your safety. To your exhausted biology, waiting feels psychologically safer than starting a task and facing the reality of an imperfect result. Procrastination often functions as a mask for an intense fear of failure, a protective layer the nervous system uses to avoid perceived danger. This creates a contradiction. If your brain is out of energy, why do you still have the stamina to play a video game, binge a show, or fall down a rabbit hole online? The answer lies in the biological rule that the human brain runs on dopamine, not on moral discipline. This chart compares chemical responses. On the left, a mundane chore offers a slow, delayed reward. On the right, digital distractions deliver rapid, high-spiking bursts of dopamine. The brain scavenges these quick hits, hunting for available fuel to restart its depleted systems. This creates a confusing psychological cocktail, a wave of temporary relief immediately followed by a heavy sense of shame for not being productive. Choosing a comforting distraction over a difficult task is your brain's attempt to build chemical momentum before it tries to handle anything difficult. Experiencing this paralysis is a sign of a severe biological system overload, completely independent of your ambition or your character. Your nervous system operates like a computer running too many heavy programs at once. To prevent a total hard drive crash, the hardware smoothly slows to a halt and enters a standby mode to protect itself. Trying to overcome a freeze state by forcing motivation or using self-punishment registers as an additional attack, which only triggers the brain's threat response further. The way to bypass the freeze response is to work with your biology. You can take tiny, low-stakes steps, like putting away one single item, to safely build chemical momentum without tripping your internal alarm system. Understanding the mechanics of your nervous system strips away the judgment of laziness. It empowers you to navigate your mind, protect your energy, and properly reboot your system. If this helped you understand yourself a little better, please subscribe to the channel and share the small tasks that usually trigger a freeze response for you in the comments. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.